How you feeling, man? First and foremost, how you feeling?
Man,
Come on.
listen, man. My heart is overwhelmed,
Come
man.
on.
I feel so good right now. It's crazy, man.
Come on, man. Come on, it's
For
been
real, man.
man. This encounter right here, bro, is, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is deep, you know? I ain't gonna go too deep into it, but this is deep, bro. You know what I'm saying? Almost 15 years, man. You know what I'm saying? Since I seen you, you know what I'm saying, on the face-to-face visual, man. You know? So
Yeah.
and I know
I think that's what makes it so special, man.
yeah. And I'm super blessed to be on this end, bro. Like, I'm super blessed that it's me, you know what I'm saying, that get this encounter and, you know what I'm saying, to go into these valuable topics, bro, and you know what I'm saying, this conversation, you know what I'm saying, on just everything, you know, life, you know what I'm saying, our relationship, everything that you've been doing and things like that, man. So, and with that being said, you know what I'm saying, Twan, I just really want to go into like all your accomplishments, bro. So, like, since you've been in prison, tell me about everything that you've accomplished.
Man, it's been a number of things, man. I think one of the bigger things is being graduating from a 4-year seminary. I think that's been a huge deal for me. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? Getting involved in ministry, you know, understanding how to serve on a practical level.
Right.
You know, I'm close to finishing my associate's degree. I also have become a member as of 2 years ago. Uh, I'm a member of Freedom Church in Seattle.
Okay.
So, a life minister, you know, also a husband and a father, man. You know, and so man, I've been blessed in that area, man, and you know, I can't thank nobody but God. You know, He's put great people around me, man, such as yourself, Mike D. You know, I give a shout out to Pastor Zachary Bruce Sr. You know, he's been super instrumental in my life, man, and also my beautiful wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's been there for me, man. Like, a phenomenal partner. You know? So, man, I'm thankful, man, and I feel like I'm in a super blessed position, man. So.
Yeah, man. So, a published author, man. Published author. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything you mentioned is things of value, especially when it comes to, you know, our relationship and our understanding, right? So everything that you mentioned is super important, super valuable, and it helps you on a personal level. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you mentioned, father, husband, you know what I'm saying, minister, like, bro, a student of life and a student, you know what I'm saying. You said seminary, right? 4 years?
Yeah.
4 years seminary?
Yes,
Come on, man. Like,
4 years.
yeah, these things are very valuable. Bro, I do wanna say, because we're on different sides of the field, right?
Yes, sir.
Like, how have you been able to accomplish all those things? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the kind of, give me the backdrop on that, man?
Man, I think, you know, just realizing, man, that the way that I was living life, man, wasn't working for me.
Right.
Obviously, you know, a lot of my life choices, man, and a lot of the decisions that I made growing up, man, they, you know, this is the result of it.
Yeah.
And so, man, when I first got incarcerated, man, I think that I really just had a desire, man, to be a better man leaving this place
Yeah.
than I was when I came in. And I knew it would be a lot of adversity.
Yeah.
But I was determined to be better, you know. And so, again, you know, I can only really attribute it to the grace of God, because there was a lot of things that could have happened while I was here.
Right.
You know, I mean, you know, being in a politically charged environment, it's violent, you know, you got politics everywhere you turn. And so, man, God has really just blessed me, man, to be determined and to be relentless, man, just to be a better man, a better father, and a better husband, man, all the way around. And so I think that's really been the case, man. But not only that, man, but also being surrounded by people, man, who have kept me on the straight and narrow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think that played a massive part, man. Right relationships, man, being around the right people, man, who are able to speak into my life, man. really played a huge part in this growth and this development that I've been able to undergo, man, since I've been incarcerated. So I think, in a nutshell, man, I think that would be the answer to that question.
And just touch a little bit more on like the more challenging parts for you.
Not being able to be there with my family, obviously. You know, when you're learning how to become a man, you finally get an idea on what it means to be a man. And yet you're in a situation that restricts you from being able to do some of the things that a man is supposed to do as a father and as a husband. I think that's more of the challenging aspect of being incarcerated. Yeah. You know, but even with that, you know, I try not to allow what I'm going through to be an excuse for why I don't do what I know I'm doing.
Come on, man. Come on. Ooh-wee. And you know, as we talk, you know, I always tell you, like, the reason I can't complain is, like, bro, everything that you've accomplished while being detained, and, you know what I'm saying, limited resources, limited things that you can do, limited as far as, like, you know, the guidelines and the boundaries of being incarcerated. You get what I'm saying? From a physical standpoint. But I wake up every day like, oh, I have no reason to complain. You feel what I'm saying? Because you are my inspiration. Watching you get all these things accomplished, you know, taking the little that you have and expanding it and making it become much, you know what I'm saying? Just by your mindset and the way that you view things, you know what I mean? Like, that's a big inspiration in itself. So what you've done is not on a basic level. Anything that you've done is on a large, you know what I'm saying, majority level, right? Because there's people, and I say that because there's people that's free. There's people that has their freedom, you know what I'm saying? And have all the resources, but don't do anything, wake up as if they have no purpose in life. So those accomplishments, man, are not overlooked. And I want to deal with the publishing author part, man. I want to deal with that. Now let's talk about the building blocks curriculum. The building blocks curriculum, Twine. I got my book. I don't have it in hand, but I have mine. And I'm starting off in the love chapter, man. I talk a little bit about the curriculum. What prompted you to write this curriculum? What was it?
Man, that's a good question, man. That's a good question. You know, there's been so many different variables that have fueled my desire to complete the project. I think if I had to narrow it down, though, I would have to say that it's been my own personal experiences. Okay. Right? Along with the numerous experiences of people who are simply trying to figure out, man, how to deal with some of the things that life has thrown me. You know, I've had conversations with people who've been through 25, 30 different foster homes. I've sat down with people who had mothers who overdosed on drugs. You know, people who've been in and out of the system and got fathers who are in prison. You know, I've talked to people who've been shot and stabbed multiple times. And honestly, man, the list goes on. But you know, to keep it 100 with you, Anthony, man, like, it's not always trauma that people are dealing with. Right. You know, some people are dealing with feelings of not being good enough. You know, others are simply trying to figure out where they belong in life. Yeah. You know, I mean, take me for an example. You know, I've been incarcerated, man, for almost 14 years with a 63-year sentence hanging over my head. And most people will look at me, you know, and condemn me for where I ended up. But rarely would they take into account, you know, my childhood experience, which played a significant part in where and why I end up where I am today. You know, I'll never forget, man, my older cousin put an old sack and a pistol in my hand when I was 13 years old. It was like, go get your money. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, you know, I indulged in that lifestyle. And this is what that, and yeah, you know, there are other things that kind of contributed to the path that I took. But the truth of the matter is that if I had the tools, right, to help me navigate some of the negative pressures that were being applied to my life, right, things would be a little different for me, you know. And so to answer your question, I think that what motivated me to write building blocks was the desire to provide solutions to some of the basic issues that continue to plague our communities. Right. You know, building blocks touches on everything from, you know, what real love looks like, right? We talk about the importance of forgiveness, right? It touches on how to deal with the opinions of other people, which is a big deal today, man. Everybody worried about what everybody think about them, right? That's a big issue in our society today, right? We touch on, the value of your life, right, and your God-given identity. And then last but not least, we also touch on the journey that is required to becoming emotionally intelligent, right, while pointing out certain things that we have to keep in mind before we start making choices. You see what I'm saying? And so all in all, what I really wanted to do is just create a tool that would bring young men, and in some cases, young women, into a space where they felt comfortable about being real about some of the things that life has thrown them. Right? And then at the same time, I wanted to be able to give them some sound insight into how to walk in the greatness that God created them to walk in, man. And so, in a nutshell, man, I think that would be the answer to that question, man. That's been my desire, man.